Welcome to the No More Meds podcast with Dr. Corinne Weaver. Are you stressed out because you keep getting sick and don't know what steps to take? Are you sick of not getting answers from your doctor and always needing to take drugs? How would your life be different if you were healthy? Be inspired and stay tuned for some practical solutions for healthy living.
Hello, everyone. This is number 4 of the No More Meds podcast, and I'm excited for you guys watching, and I'm excited for you guys listening. So we are going to go over gut health today. I thought it would be a great topic to discuss, and the reason why is I just got back from a seminar over the weekend. And on this seminar, we discussed a lot about digestion and how our bacteria play a big role in our health and also in our children's health. And what I think is really interesting in all of this is that the genetics play a big role in the bacteria and how we can really change the children's health by our bacteria. We can change the genetics, I guess I'm trying to say, is we can change the genetics by the bacteria of our gut. And that was just an interesting topic because as moms, we kind of get blamed for a lot of things. And dads don't get blamed as much. So this was kind of interesting topic because the genes that they were testing was, a lot of it was the men and how if they were unhealthy and they didn't have a healthy gut, then it affected the child and the genetics of the child. And as we know, as today we're facing a lot of kids having issues with their gut health and their digestion health, and not to blame the parents, but it's also the lifestyle and the environment factors that play a big role. And one of my biggest passions, and I like to challenge myself, is to continue to learn. And that's why I go to these seminars to find out the latest new research that's available. And, you know, when I was able to get off my medication, one of the first things that I wanted to help myself was my digestion, because being a kid and taking a lot of antibiotics, it really affected my digestive, which we realize now is 70% of our immune system is in our gut. So very, very important to get good digestion health. And so if you're not pregnant and you haven't had kids and you're listening to this podcast, I would really encourage, in fact, I see actually moms and dads come in, couples come in before they're pregnant and later become mom and dads, but they come in and they can't get pregnant, and or they just want to be as healthy as they can before they actually get pregnant, which I think is amazing. Back in the day, they didn't really even think about stuff like that, but I have to tell you that prevention is key. And I'll say that again, prevention is key. So, this topic of getting healthier before you actually conceive and get pregnant, that's a big topic right now. And so there's many couples that I've counseled through wellness, changing lifestyle, looking at their environment, looking at themselves, how healthy they are, through blood work and different diagnostic testing that we do at a functional medicine component of it, and we work with them and allow their bodies to heal properly through digestion and through nutrition and stress management tips and breathing. And, it's really a course of them getting healthier over a few months, and then they conceive and they get pregnant. And what we've noticed is if they do this and their body weight, specifically their body weight and their measurement of fat, if you have a lot of fat on your body, it actually can create a gene to pass through to your child to have issues with their metabolism and their hormones. So being as healthy as you can, and of course the medical society is looking at like gastric bypasses for people. Let's say if you're overweight and you get a gastric bypass, they're finding if you got the gastric bypass and lost a lot of fat and had a child, that those studies that they're having healthier children just on the body fat alone. And I'm not saying, hey, go everybody get a gastric bypass. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is doing some things right now as healthy as you can, changing lifestyle, different lifestyles to get your microbiome in your gut healthier to help with your metabolism. And the biggest studies that we're finding is certain probiotics are really key. And there's so many probiotics out there, guys. I know there's so many out there and you don't know which one to do. And if you read one website, it says this is the best probiotic and this one's the best probiotic. And it's really hard to know what is best for you. To be real specific, it's actually good to get a stool test to find out what your bacterial levels are. In fact, I just went over with a mom her son's stool test, and in that stool test it showed that he had no growth of a certain bacteria. So we knew that because we had no growth of that bacteria, that's the one that we want to focus on building up in his gut as we're doing other things to help with his digestion. So there is like I said, test that you can do for that. But what they're finding is the plant-based bacteria, the spore, specifically spore bacteria, is becoming really popular now on building up your digestive system. So in order to do that, and for gut healing, there's a lot of things that you need to look at in your environment that could be causing and killing your bacteria right now. So if you're one of those people that love the antibacterial soap and the antibacterial wipes, in fact, as I was going to this seminar, I sat beside someone that, I don't know if she had maybe OCD and maybe I didn't look good. I don't know, but she had her antibacterial wipes with her. And so she's wiping everything down, and I understand we're on a plane. It's pretty nasty. There's a lot of crud out there, right? But the thing is, if you continue to use those antibacterial products, you're killing also the good bacteria within your body. So how do you know what to use? Like I said, some of that bacteria that we need to help build up our immune system and how strong our immune system is. So if we live, my immune system was bad. I was on a lot of antibiotics, and my parents, not that they put me in a bubble, but it's almost like if you're in a bubble, then maybe, that person will get better, but they need to be exposed. You need to play in the dirt. You need to, be exposed to these bacteria to help, build up your immunity. But when your immunity is so low, it does take time to, regenerate that rainforest within your gut. To help build up your immune system. So for this little guy, the whole reason we ran the stool test is because he's having really bad eczema. So, we want to be able to, and the mom's doing everything she knows to do to eliminate food sensitivities, because we already did food allergies for this little boy. And so we know what food sensitivities he's having, and the mom is being diligent, and I know how hard it is to remove those certain sensitivities, and you're like, oh gosh, what can they eat? But I told her, with confidence that, I was in that same boat. I had some anaphylactic foods that I was allergic to that now I can eat, which is exciting because, when you can have foods that you were anaphylactic, and then all of a sudden your immune system is stronger and you can introduce foods, and now I'm not anaphylactic anymore. So how does that work? It's really kind of confusing when you look at the immune system and how integrated and how complex it is. But, we're talking about, things that you can do right now. And, one of the things that I would say to look into is if you're trying to, get healthy before getting pregnant, you want to make sure, the main thing that I look at is, a lot of moms, when they are pregnant, they become anemia, right? They have anemic either symptoms, or I see it on their blood work. It's very, very common. And there's a lot of things that cause anemia. In fact, I'm working with quite a few patients right now because they're so anemic. But we know the cause is either leaky gut, or they have some bad bacteria like parasites. Actually, this one lady, poor thing, we see it a lot. They have certain parasites that we have to kill off because the parasites will steal. Yeah, they'll steal your nutrients. So you got to kill those guys so they don't get your nutrients that you're trying to feed yourself. Another thing that's real important for the gut healing is omega-3s. So getting a really good part of, going back to the anemia. So you got to kill the bacteria. I mean, you got to kill the, you got to kill the bad bacteria if there's any, but you got to kill these parasites if that's the cause of the anemia itself. But you have to support the body too with maybe some minerals. A lot of people are lacking different minerals, especially magnesium on the market right now. And, people have that MTHFR, which we're going to discuss later, not today, but probably have to do a whole podcast on that, and deficiencies and genetically about folic acid or folate and iron and methyl B12 and what B12s to take and what vitamins. I know it can be so confusing out there. And like I said, always start off with, asking a professional that can help you if you're really wanting to take any herbs or supplements. Always ask a professional or doctor that you can work with that can really target specific areas of what you need. Because like I said, there's a lot of stuff out there and you don't want to just take things just because, you read some kind of testimonial and it did good for that person. In fact, I was just talking to a patient earlier today and he was saying, you think it's some of the vitamins I'm taking? He was taking like 20 different vitamins and I was like, yeah, it probably could be. You can't overdose on these things. You maybe taking too much. And so I told him, I was like, why are you taking this and why are you taking that? And so I just sat down with him and gave him, some clues of like, if you're taking these things, you might want to check and see if it's working properly within your system. Because, if you have some genetic tendencies, it can create overdose at the liver or overdose of the kidneys. So you got to just pay close attention to that. So again, we're going to go back to the gut, and what's real important is those good bacteria. And we got to feed the good bacteria. So you probably have heard of the prebiotics now, which is really big. And the prebiotics is like feeding the fish in the tank, and the fish are the bacteria. So you want to make sure that if you're putting good bacteria in, that you're giving the prebiotics so the body can, the bacteria can feed off those and they're not just dying off. Fish oil is also really good. Like I said, the omega-3s, it's very, very important to get those for your brain and cardiovascular and for gut as well. And you definitely want to avoid a company that uses or is not checking for mercury, because mercury can be in those fish oils. So you want to make sure that it's a low amount of mercury or no mercury at all, and that they're testing those. Another thing that we constantly look at besides minerals and omega-3 is antioxidants. Antioxidants are huge. And one of the things that helps the bacteria, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, which is kind of interesting, is vitamin C. You really can't go wrong with vitamin C, and there's different forms of it now. So, there's the chewables you've probably seen, and there's the pills that you've seen, but I don't know if you've heard of liposoluble. And there's that where it absorbs really, really well. So, when you're looking at different companies for vitamin C, again, what are you taking it for? How much dosage and stuff like that. But it's been very, very good. I'm seeing it a lot now with not just with immune health in the gut, but also with your blood vessels and finding that your blood vessels, if they're clogged it up, or if there's issues with too much cholesterol, or if there's issues with bacteria, that's, in fact, the bad bacteria is probably majority of the studies are finding that it's causing the heart issues that we're having. It's not the high cholesterol. We've kind of rolled that out, that high cholesterol does not cause you to have heart attack. There's more and more studies coming on that, but what we're saying is if you have a bad bacteria that's kind of floating around through your blood system, it's going to eat away the lining and create more stress on your heart. And of course, if it gets into the heart, what bad bacteria can do, right? So vitamin C is just good for that, in so many ways. So it's one of my to-goes. When I wrote the No More Meds book, I was trying to narrow down like the top 10 vitamins, the type 10 herbs in that. And of course, vitamin C was on the top list. And it's also been linked for premature deliveries and preeclampsia. So, that's one thing if you are pregnant, to start taking some vitamin C, and it can protect against the effects of mercury, and also DNA damage. So there's a lot of foods too. I want to say you have to take a vitamin C. You don't want to say you have to take a vitamin that is a vitamin C, but there's actually foods like oranges and grapefruit and cantaloupe and peppers and your broccoli. There's tons of food that has vitamin C in there. So making sure that you're getting a good 5. I always tell people it's easy to remember 5 good vegetables a day and at least maybe 1 or 2 fruits, depending if you're diabetic. A day, so you're getting those good citrus fruits, you're getting those vegetables that have high C in them. So some people, I would just have them do food and not necessarily vitamins. It just depends on how lack they are and what they need. So I could say it's pretty much safe to get at least 2,000 milligrams if you're looking at a vitamin C on a daily basis. But my patients are like, how much do you take? And I'm like, you remember, I'm me, and you're not going to do what I do. But just for instance, during the winter, I usually take about 10,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C because I work with a lot of sick kids. And so I want to stay healthy for them so I can continue to help them be healthy. And so vitamin C and lauricidin is like my to-go. And lauricidin is a monolaurin, so it comes from coconut, but it helps with the bad bacteria, and it kind of encapsulates them and gets them out of the system. So it's been one of the top supplements that I use because it comes from the whole food of the monolaurin, the coconut plant. Zinc is another thing that's very important for the gut, and it's a mineral that is very important for fetal growth. So, a lot of times zinc is not checked in the blood, but you can actually check zinc in the blood to see if you're deficient. If you don't want to check it in the blood, we actually, in the office, we do what we call the zinc tally test, and we take zinc, it's a liquid, we put it in your mouth, and we ask the patient, what are you tasting? Can you taste anything? And if they say they can't taste anything, then I know they're zinc deficient. So you should, as soon as I put it in my mouth, because I do take zinc, is that you taste like that zinc. It's kind of like a metal taste. And so, zinc, we have found that a lot of people are just deficient in it unless you're taking a whole lot of it. But it's kind of interesting to find the new studies how it's saying it's helping the fetal growth and it's helping the baby in the gut. So it's really important to take the necessary zinc if you are deficient in that. Psyllium too was another one that is found in different nuts, but it's also helped with women that are high risk of preeclampsia. So just a kind of little added tip there. B complex is very good for the gut as well, very important for development of your baby. And again, what Bs do you take? And just recently, I just had my genetically test done. That was a couple years ago, and as I learned, hydroxyl B12 works best for me. And once I got that genetic test done, it was actually good to know what B vitamin, because I've tried different B vitamins and I've tried methyl Bs, and they just didn't work really good with my system. And once I found that hydroxyl was the best, they make a liposonyl of a B12 hydroxyl, and I don't really need it all the time now, but at the beginning I tried it. It was liquid, so I tried it for a few times, and it really just helped with my energy, because B12 is it's good for energy, metabolism, digestion, brain function, all of those good things. And when I was pregnant and before I had kids, I had none of this stuff I knew. You guys are just really, really blessed now to be able to search different topics and to learn as much as you can before you get pregnant, or if you are pregnant now, or if you've already had kids and you're trying to help your kids have grandkids, healthy grandkids. Maybe this is a good topic that you want to share with them. Lastly is vitamin D. I've been in Charlotte North Carolina, and we were getting a lot of rain lately here, and so vitamin D has been really kind of low, and so I've been encouraging people to take a little bit extra vitamin D till we get through that season, and it's just for short periods of time. So right now I'm doing about 5,000 IUs a day. Because I usually run low when I get my blood tested. I run a little bit low on vitamin D, so I got to keep my vitamin D. And again, that's a genetic thing, right? We're learning more about these genes and genetic, and I love, like I said, going to these seminars and learning how we can, because environment's one thing and the genes another thing, right? So the environment we can kind of control, but our genes we can't. So learning some things to help our genes in the environment that we are can help us live a healthier lifestyle. And so there was a study done where it was two twins, and one of them ate fast food every day and the other one did not, ate a lot of fruits and vegetables and lean meats. And over the course of the next generation, they found how it affected the next generation. And you can see where that would go there. Yes, the person that ate more fast foods had more health issues and passed down worse genes to their child, but they had the same genes, these twins did. And then the other one, like I said, ate healthier, and their genes end up being a little bit different. So the environment we know, the lifestyle we know can change our genes. That's pretty effective. It can literally turn that switch on and off within our body. So, making healthier choices, even though if we say, okay, I got bad genes, I actually, I don't know where I stand. I think some things I have bad. I mean, there is a lot of cancer in my family. There's my mom, she ended up dying of brain cancer, but she also had rheumatoid arthritis, which is a genetic disorder. I got some diabetes. I got some heart disease. I mean, I got all this stuff in my genes, but, in order for those to be triggered, I need to live a bad lifestyle. So if I was eating fast food every day and I never exercised and I put myself under a lot of stress and I didn't sleep, I may be experiencing right now rheumatoid arthritis, because even at my age, my mom was already having issues with rheumatoid arthritis. So thank God that I learned how to not express that gene, and that, because I'm a chiropractor, right? And I need my hands, and if my hands were hurting all the time, that would be an issue for not just for my patients, but obviously for myself and my family, and how it affect all of us. So, it's really nice to know that I can keep the rheumatoid arthritis down and not express that gene by the lifestyle choices that I make on a daily basis. So vitamin D is crucial. Vitamin D is, as we know, if you do want to take D3, you can get your levels tested. And I believe a lot of doctors right now are testing their D levels, because you can overdose, right? You can overdose in D. Like I said, any of these vitamins, any of these supplements, any of these herbs, you can always overdose. So just be careful on the doses that you're doing. And like I said, talk with a doctor specifically if you have a condition about something that you're trying to get help with. Let a doctor do some functional testing with you to find out what supplements and vitamins are best for you. And, before I end my program, I just want to give it out there that, when you're getting pregnant, and actually when you get pregnant and have a baby, this should be the most joyful time in your life. And so I want it to be, a good time for you, and for the baby to live our healthiest pregnancy can be, because we know these babies are going to be healthier if your pregnancy is better. So my goal in life is to really help these kids and get this new generation of kids. And I know it starts with the mom and dad making the decision before they get pregnant, or the couple making the decision. So to be able to see couples literally come to me, that either one, they can't get pregnant, or two, they just want to get healthier before they conceive. This is just a really cool start. I never saw this in practice. I've been in practice for 15 years, and I've only seen this in the last 3 or 4 years happening. So it's really kind of encouraging that, people are reaching out and thinking about, the next generation, which I think is kind of cool, because as when you were pregnant, or when I was pregnant, I remember taking care of myself more because I was, taking care of another human being. And that's really something, if we think about it, it may be easier to lose weight if we knew it was going to affect our kids. instead of, for ourselves, which, we should just be at the healthiest we can be just for ourselves. But when you're doing it for something else, if you're doing it for your child, if you know that your child's going to be healthier because of the way you're taking care of yourself right now, it just kind of motivates you more to be as healthy as you can. So I just want to encourage you to do that. And like I said, be joyful in this time and don't stress out. So very important to breathe, as always. And I am just excited to be on this podcast to share this with you guys. And I would love for you to share with other people. If you know somebody right now that's pregnant that needs to hear this message, or trying to get pregnant, get that to them. And let's get a better generation, a healthier generation of people coming together, because we need that right now. And I give all the glory to God for what he's doing in our practice and seeing miracles every day. And I really appreciate my listeners. And if you guys want a certain subject, please email me at dr@drcorinne, CORINNE, Weaver, WEAVER.com. And definitely put some comments below, and so I know that there's other people wanting to hear and share this message. So I love you guys, and continue to keep breathing.
Thanks for listening to the No More Meds podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share your favorite episodes with your family and friends, or at least leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. The content and opinions expressed are those of the host and presenters. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Product statements have not been evaluated by the FDA.